everyone, how are you guys doing today? I am recording this video third time actually, and I can't afford to do that because I need to pre-record quite a few videos because yes! I am so freaking excited. I just got the approval to get my surgery done. It might sound like something like really ridiculous to get so excited about, but honestly guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited I could cry. Yes, I actually have gotten approved for a breast reduction surgery, and it was actually supposed to happen this past Friday, March the 20th, but of course, because of the coronavirus outbreak, it got pushed. We are in this shelter in place in California, so the surgery has been pushed to April 21st. So it's going to happen in another 4 weeks. Oh my god, I really hope it happens in the next 4 weeks because I have these like really strong emotional and physical reasons to have this done, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I have some emotional reasons, some physiological reasons, and then some very strong emotional feelings that have resulted as a result of the physiological reasons. So that's what I'm going to explain in this video today. Of course, I'll make a separate video about, what you need to do, and then of course the befores and afters and all of that at a later point of time. But these are my reasons as to why I want this surgery done, because to most people, when they think breast surgery, they think it is kind of a cosmetic procedure. When it comes to breast reduction, it's totally not that. So here are my reasons why. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are my physical reasons, because that's what an insurance company looks for when they want to approve or disprove or not approve your surgery. And in my case, the reasons are pain, and I actually have the size to justify that. Most women, as you guys might know, are between the sizes A to C, and if they're considered voluptuous, they're D's and double D's. For me, I developed really, really early. Like, I think at the age of 9, my grandmother asked me to wrap a towel around my chest and come out, and not just around my waist like I used to do before. And I was very confused, but I think that was the reason. I think I started developing at 9 and got my periods at 12. And after hitting puberty, my breast size just grew super rapidly. So much so that in 2 years, which was by 8th grade, I was already fitting into adult size bras. And then by 10th grade, my mom actually had to go out and buy the normal C size bras 2 sizes larger than what would fit my band size. Band size is kind of like the circumference around your rib cage, and then she would actually fold down the band size to fit my rib cage, but that way the cups would be large enough to fit me, and I was already pretty large at that age. But then most women that I know had stopped growing by the age of like 2021. I continued growing. I moved to the US at that age, and luckily for me, that way I could find like those D's and double D bras. But I continued growing even after that. I think I continued growing well into my late 20s. And before I had my kids, I was already a 34 or 36 triple D. And then during my pregnancies and breastfeeding, my breast size grew further. And I ended up purchasing a 36G right after my second delivery in the hospital itself. And it is kind of adjustable with like hooks, like on the strap, so that you can make the cup slightly bigger or smaller. And I just measured myself on this website, which tells you how to take multiple measurements. And according to that website, I am a US size 34K or L. Size A is like 1 inch more than your rib cage circumference. Size B is 2, C is 3, so on and so forth. I am 11 inches more than my ribcage size. So I definitely have the volume. Now the insurance company has approved me for a minimum removal of 730 grams of breast tissue from each breast. That is about 1.7 pounds from each of my breasts. On an average, one cup size is considered 200 grams. So that would put me somewhere like 3.5 cup sizes smaller than what I'm currently am. And now I don't know how much of the 11 inches is, some back fat maybe, or some like armpit fat. But I think that would kind of put me in the normal range. I don't know what my doctor is going to do because he's going to make that decision on the fly. They kind of decide on the size of the breast based on how your overall look is. So I'm kind of currently working towards losing more weight and getting like a smaller abdomen so that my doctor feels comfortable removing as much as he needs to remove for me to take my pain away, which is actually the second symptom that I have. I have severe pain in my neck and shoulders and my back. I've had that for as long as I can remember. The first time I went to a chiropractor was in 2009. I have done physiotherapy before that. I actually ended up injuring my back, as I might have mentioned in one of my previous videos, while picking up a child. But I think actually the size of my breast had put me in that vulnerable position to begin with. But in general, the pain just continued until 2009. And since then, I have done like multiple chiropractic sessions. And in every single session, my neck needs to be corrected or cracked because it is always out of alignment. At the same time, I have like these deep shoulder dips. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like I have like this chunky area here, and then I have like these dips in my shoulder from my bra straps digging into my shoulders over all these years. But even the best bras kind of cannot keep me upright because the breasts are always kind of like, pulling my shoulders and my back kind of forward, which ends up in a bad posture. And that is of course never good for you. But at the same time, standing like very upright gives me a lot of like mid back, lower back pain. I cannot like stand, I cannot cook for extended periods of time. If I'm ever on a couch, I have to always kind of lean back. In fact, even recording for a long time gives me severe pain in my back and shoulders and neck. Actually, the very first chiropractor I saw took an x-ray of my neck, and he asked me why I didn't have a natural kind of curve that is supposed to be in your lumbar spine. I think that's what it's called. And he asked me if I had never crawled. I confirmed with my mom that I did crawl. I did everything in the normal way. But I think like this weight that is pulling everything forward all these years kind of made that curve go away, and that is, I think, the cause of like the pain that I feel at the base of my neck and everything. Okay, now going into emotional reasons. As I told you guys, I developed really early, and that ended up in this like weird unwanted attention from like these weirdos that exist or used to exist on Indian streets. Catcalling, eve teasing was very normal back then. But that used to usually happen to like college girls. I was in high school and that used to still happen to me. I used to feel very awkward, and I was actually very clueless and absent-minded. They used to call me absent-minded professor, and I used to just not understand why this was happening to me. Over the years, I had started feeling as if like I'm doing something wrong, as if like there's something like the way I walk or something that is attracting this attention that I absolutely did not want. I was of this very tomboyish mentality, and I did not enjoy that attention. I hated it, and that has kind of resulted in this like lower self-esteem, you can say, like this extreme sense of discomfort when it comes to my breasts. Now, practically, I cannot even go to a gym without wearing two bras. I usually wear my usual bra and then I wear a sports bra on top. And even with that, I feel like I move around or jiggle around too much. And if I do a very heavy kind of like jumping and running kind of cardio, that results in severe like shoulder and neck pain. As I mentioned, I was very tomboyish. I used to like run around a lot when I was a kid and all of that, but then that just stopped once I started developing. I avoid doing jumping jacks at all costs. Even when I run, I kind of run like this, like I am like bracing down my breast even after the two bras. And that's how I run, because I feel very awkward when I'm running. I love to dance, but I avoid dancing in general because I feel like it looks too vulgar and too inappropriate, and I I I just don't like that feeling, like, as if like I might be drawing attention to my breasts and they might be moving around too much. I know people who have like large breasts and kind of they own it. They own it and they are very comfortable with that attention and they're okay with it. I am just not. Now, practically, they are literally in the way. I have very short torso, as I mentioned in my dresses haul. So they kind of cover the smallest part of my waist. So looks wise, it doesn't look good. But at the same time, when I'm sitting down, they come so forward that when my kids kind of come and jump on me, I have to slightly push them away because there is just like too much volume up here. I cannot just run behind them or like wrestle with them. As you guys know, I have like two very active boys, and that kind of puts a lot of limitations on the things that I can do with them, and I absolutely hate that feeling. Now, in kind of, you can say, more cosmetic level, I cannot find bras that fit me comfortably. I don't know if that's superficial or not, but I just can't find bras that fit these in normal stores. Ever since having the kids, like the size that I have now, I just haven't found any bras. As I mentioned, I'm still wearing the post maternity bras, and then I have started using these, like, what are they called? I think they're called like sleeping bras, which don't necessarily look very good, but at the same time they don't dig into you as much. Underwires have always kind of dug into me. They tend to kind of poke out, and I have actually gotten injuries from the underwire, and they used to like severely dig into my rib cage and leave red like welts around my rib cage. So that was not comfortable. When it comes to like dresses, I'm looking at a closet right here. Of course, I can't wear many things that are kind of front buttoned unless it is at least a size or so larger. The buttons kind of like the areas between the buttons kind of pop open, so you need to wear really baggy shirts. And in terms of dresses, I like these fit and flare kind of dresses, but most of the dresses, the torso size they give you, even though it is fine for my actual torso length, because of the length that the fabric has to travel, it like ends up sitting right under my breast and it looks terrible. Even my normal jackets, a jacket would fit everywhere else, but then just because of my breast, I would have to buy a gigantic size jacket that would kind of like droop over my shoulders and all of that, or I would have to like pack myself in. It used to just either look super bad, like super baggy, as if I was wearing like a trash bag, or it would look like a stuffed sausage in my upper body. I was just editing and I realized that I forgot completely to mention a very important point. So most of my face makeup is off, but just bear with me. I forgot to mention the third and the most important reasoning, which is the physiological reasoning behind why I want this procedure done. Breast reduction actually reduces your probability of getting breast cancer, mainly because the sheer amount of tissue that they remove from your breast. So if there was ever a probability of that tissue developing breast cancer, then that is gone. So it reduces your chances of getting breast cancer in the first place. Secondly, it also increases your probability of early detection because whatever tissue was removed gets biopsied, and if there was ever any cancer in it, that would get diagnosed sooner. It is even more important in my case because I have what they call dense breast tissue. Mammogram is not very efficient at diagnosing breast cancer if you have dense breast tissue, because usually most breasts are fatty, cancer cells are dense, so that's how mammogram can distinguish between the two. But if you have dense breasts to begin with, then that identification becomes difficult. Since 2011, I think I had 7 or 8 biopsies, and you end up having to spend a lot of money on it. I have a family history of breast cancer. My paternal grandmother did have bilateral breast cancer, which eventually, I don't know what's the word, but it's like migrated to other parts of her body, and eventually she died from it. So it has always been on my mind. So the fact that breast reduction reduces your chances of getting breast cancer and increases your chances of early detection, which means even if you have breast cancer, your survival rate would be better. I'm in my 40s, which means, of course, as you age, your chances of getting the cancer goes up. So I am really hoping to get this procedure done as soon as possible. So please keep me in your prayers. Let's hope that, we stay inside, beat this coronavirus peak, and eventually I'm able to get my surgery done. If any of you guys are wondering if we need this quarantine thing, this is what is going to happen, that all the other services that we need, like for example, say this breast reduction surgery that I need, is not going to happen if our hospitals are overwhelmed by coronavirus patients. Or as I heard in one of the videos, that for example, if you have a heart attack, but if all the emergency beds are taken by these poor coronavirus patients, then you're not going to get the treatment that you need. So please stay indoors, stay safe. I will be sharing my befores and afters and all of that in future videos. So if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please do so. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.